That's awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Colin O'Reilly Show. This week, I am so excited. I have on Syed Faisal. He is a friend, a local comic, an improv actor. We took a stand-up comedy class together. It was super awesome. I'm so excited to have you on, Syed. How are you doing, man?
Doing great. It's Friday afternoon almost, so what can be better than a Friday afternoon?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nice, nice. Yeah, you work. The last time we hung out, you were saying you work and live down in by the South Bay, right? Like the Redondo area.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Nice. Well, if the sun ever comes back out, you can go and hang out at the beach. Yeah, when I lived in college, I went to Loyola and I lived in Redondo and I loved it down there.
Yeah, I can't wait for the sunny California to be back because I'm really missing. And I was uh, last week, a couple of my coworkers from Michigan, they were arriving here to LA for a work meeting. And they were like, "Hey, we came for sunny California." I had to tell them, "Sorry, hell, that was a wrong advertisement."
Yeah, exactly. Now it's like the end of the world, or it's like it always reminds me of like the end of like the first Ghostbusters movie where the weather's all crazy in New York.
Yeah.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's coming. Yeah, it's apocalypse weather. Did you see on the news today there was the earthquake on the East Coast?
Yeah, I know, and they were going all crazy about it, and because they had an earthquake after 1848, and I'm like,
Wow.
really? So that's why they were all going crazy. I say it's just another shake for us in Southern California.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like here it's always earthquake weather after it rains. It feels like there's
Mhm.
always an earthquake a few days after, like the ground's kind of shifting. I'm terrified. Yeah, I live in Venice, and I feel like since I moved back here, like I lived in Oregon for a while, then COVID was so sad there. I came here and since I've been back on my phone, I've had like earthquake warnings, tsunami warnings, flash flood warnings, fire warnings. Jeez Louise. The end of the world is exhausting. Now tell me a little bit about your background. Where are you from originally? Where were you born?
So I am born and raised in Karachi, Pakistan,
Nice.
and it's been 2006. I moved to USA, and I still remember it was June 10th, 2006. And because of the time difference, I flew on June 10th, 2006, and arrived on June 10th, 2006 to US. I arrived to Chicago. Lived there. I always say that I have spent 3 winters in Chicago, and that's enough. And the last almost 17 and a half or 18 years, I am in LA and very embedded in LA lifestyle now. So it feels like home. And like I'm a big fan of LA, Southern California.
Yeah.
And for my work and for personal reasons too, I travel a lot, especially before COVID. I was traveling a lot for work.
Oh,
And
nice.
wherever I go, I talk about LA, like I'm the salesman for it, and everyone, oh my God, we need to come there and see that. I'm like, yeah.
Nice. What kind of work do you do?
I say that I'm in a boring corporate slave. I work in a shipping company, in a very well-renowned shipping company, which was in the news last week too.
Oh, wow.
And I in Baltimore, so I work there. I'm a program manager for that company.
Oh, the
Yeah,
shipping industry. You don't work for that company though.
I do.
Oh, that's the same company, the boat, the
Hmm.
bridge.
Yep.
Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. This
Yeah,
became a whole new podcast.
I do not leave any chance to be in the news either. It's about work.
Yeah. Wow. That so you must be exhausted. Yeah, that must be a full-time all hands on deck.
Yeah, so basically supply chain management, and a lot of people who are not related or not from the industry, they do not know what supply chain management is. And when these kind of things happen, when we come in the news, like during the after COVID, there was a big supply chain management crisis when all the shelves were empty for Christmas shopping at that time and at this time. everyone remembers, oh yeah, he works for some that kind of thing, and everyone, I have to answer everyone that what's happening, what happened.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I graduated high school in the mid nineties.
Mhm.
I'm totally dating myself. Graduated college in 2001, and everything was globalization. It was sort of this globalized, like almost on time, sort of, I forget what they called it, like, yeah, global distribution system. And then COVID sort of just shut all that down. And now everything's sort of going back to countries are, it seems like trying to get so much more localized. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
fascinating time. Sorry, I cut you off.
no, it is, and that's what actually brought me to this industry when I did my MBA back home, and so that was at that time the internet was pretty new, like at least
Yeah.
in my part of the world, which was is Pakistan is a third world country. At that time, it was new, and not even the home connections at that time. Only the business people were using it.
Oh,
So for
wow.
me, so it was very fascinating work in some industry where, work globally. So even when I was living in Pakistan, I was dealing with the clients here in US and in Europe, at even from there, and which helped me really because it was a funny story when I came to Chicago and I was interviewing for the jobs, and they asked me that, hey, how come you just arrived to US? How come you can speak English? And I told them that hey, because all the higher education back home in Pakistan is in English, and I'm working in this global industry, so that's why. And one interviewer asked it, the
Nice.
second interviewer asked this. So on the third one, I asked it back. I said, why is it a surprising thing that if I'm new to the country and I can speak English? And then that person was explained to me, said that because there are people, immigrants who are living here for 20 plus years, and since they are living in the same community or in same kind of neighborhood, they do not even bother to learn English, and they are living here for years, and but they did not learn the language and do not speak English. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, that's good if somebody does not have to.
Yeah. I love languages. I always tried to learn on Duolingo, that language app you can get on your phone.
Oh
I
yeah,
used
I'm
to do
trying to
that.
learn Spanish on that app. It's
Yeah.
not really helping. I'm really
Oh, that's
looking for a
terrible. I love
Spanish
it.
class
I
now.
could only do basic, but yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. German is so fun because the words are so long. There's only like nine German words. Japanese is hard. I've always wanted to yell at people in Japanese. I think that would sound so cool. Like traffic, you get road rage, and it's
Mhm.
just like if
Yeah,
you're screaming in Japanese, the person would be confused, and I think you could get away with more. Well, that's
yeah, I can.
awesome.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it
sorry.
really helps, especially if I'm with my friends from Pakistan or India. We speak the same language. So in the public place, we can all openly comment on people in our language, and nobody knows.
That's awesome. Wait, and now forgive me, I'm dumb. I forget what language is it that is spoken in Pakistan?
It's Urdu, the main
Urdu.
national
Oh,
language, and
I didn't
then
know. Oh,
there
okay.
are like four a lot of some regional languages too, but Urdu is the one which is spoken there as a common language.
And that's the same in India, you said.
Yeah, same in India. They call it Hindi, and the difference I can tell you that so how the Shakespeare's English is. So there is a English of Bible, then there's a Shakespeare's English, and then the American English.
Yes.
So Urdu is like Shakespeare's English, like very proper and very proper, and Hindi is like an American English version of Urdu.
That's fascinating.
Mhm,
That's fascinating. I was reading up a little bit just before we started today on Pakistan's history, just the Wikipedia page.
mhm.
And it was fascinating. They said even the name Pakistan is sort of a combination of like Punjab, Baluchistan, I forget the others, different
Yeah, there are
provinces formed
four,
together.
five provinces. Yes.
And then that for like Voltron, I don't know if you know,
Yeah,
it was like an American thing. They sort of formed a thing, but yeah, and then that forms the name Pakistan. I thought that's very cool.
yeah.
That's fascinating. And now, were you an only child there? Did you have brothers and sisters?
Oh no, I'm a member of a very traditional family. I'm the youngest of nine,
Wow, that's
actually.
awesome. That's
I know
so cool. Youngest
it's
of nine.
it's very rare nowadays, and here in America, whenever I tell anyone that I'm youngest of nine, and they're like, "Oh, you must be a baby of the family," and I have to tell
Yeah.
them, "No, when you are youngest of nine, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit because they have had all the fun already with the eight others. So
Yeah.
you have to really make your place in the space that, hey, hello, I'm here too. Hey, look what I'm doing. Hey, look, I did something too." So you have to come up with something new or something extra, or to
Yeah.
make your place and to find which helped me actually, and that really helped me in how I built my life. I was so like I was a very responsible person from the beginning. I always work and back home, here in America, it's a common thing that you go to school and you work, but back home, nobody works until they do their bachelor's or master's.
Oh,
They are
wow.
just at their parents. And so, but I was not like that. I from the high school, I started working. I was doing both work and school, and then how the world was changing, and I was realizing, and I was looking that I had to find something bigger and global and outside of Pakistan. So I was always, even with the regular college studies, I was also in the English language classes and then computer classes. So always had a full day.
Nice. Yeah, I was always a computer nerd in college. I remember right when the internet was coming out and cellphones.com, the domain was for sale and it was for 70K. And
Mhm.
I was like, that's a good deal because it's just starting and I couldn't raise the money. I was just like super poor and young. I was like 19 or whatever. And now it's worth like 10 million. I was like, oh, if I'd been rich, uh, that was yeah, like the wild west of the internet and computers when it was they're really coming
Yeah,
online.
yeah, that really changed the world. And but even when it was not common, like the Facebook came, I think around 2008 here in America. Around 2008, Facebook started getting common that people started making their profiles and got connected on that.
Is
But
social media that's big there in
yeah,
Pakistan?
now it is. It was not until I left in 2006. As let's say that even here in America, I started hearing about social media in 2008. I must say. So, but I started working in that global market. That's why I did my be in the international business to be
Okay.
part of the international.
Oh,
So that's
nice.
why it was very fascinating to work in the global market even before when the world was global. How
Yeah.
before internet we nobody knew each other.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that all the time. Like I grew up, I was born in 76. And so I sort of like remember like I came like my brain came online, and I was like 6, 7. I remember like kindergarten hearing Michael Jackson's Thriller for the first time. Like that had just come out in
Oh
like
gosh.
81, 82. So I feel like I
Mhm.
grew up in the most perfect time in the 80s. And then I was obsessed with computers as a little kid. And I was lucky my friend Lloyd, I grew up in Tigard, Oregon, like a suburb out of Portland. And this kid, Lloyd, we were like the same age. She had an older brother who was like 20, 22 or whatever, who was also really into computers and had like an Apple and a Commodore. And he would tell us about like Steve Jobs and whatever and Apple. And I just was like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. And yeah, now watching it, I'm always fascinated because like you remember like Clinton in the mid 90s, he really pushed to get China as part of like the World Trade Organization,
Yeah.
and that they used to be like a purely agrarian kind of farm based country. And then once they got the WTO, it just changed so much. They just started making stuff for the world. They sort of became the world's factory. Uh, and with now Taiwan and microchips, I think sort of the ultimate goods and service now seems to be microchips because they're in every phone, every computer, car, whatever. And I'm just, yeah, I wonder now with globalization, it used to be so everyone just sort of took for granted, I think, peacetime and no war and global trade
Yeah,
routes. And Taiwan was the only place in the world making microchips. And now America's doing these initiatives and trying to start it. I don't know enough. I keep forgetting to research why making CPUs is so difficult. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I always wonder if places like if I was in charge of like Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, any of these
mm,
countries over there, like kind of Southeast Asia, I guess Saudi Arabia is in Southeast Asia, but India, any of those, I would just be like, I would be putting all of my money into. And Afghanistan's sitting on so much
yeah,
minerals to make a lot of that stuff they're fighting. So I'm sure Pakistan is too. Sorry, I just kind
yeah,
of went off there. And there's a lot of people in
yeah.
Pakistan, 235 million.
Oh yeah, it's a big population there. It's a big population wise. It's a big country. Yeah.
Yeah, America, we're at like 325 now. But in the 80s, we're growing kind of fast. In the 80s, we were like 250, I think. I don't know. I don't know if I
Yeah.
think. So you were the class clown. I would have been too. I was an only child, so I can't imagine having eight
Hmm. No, I
brothers
was
and
a
sisters.
I was a very shy kid actually. Because of I was for a long period of time I was a shy kid, and it
Oh,
took me so long to come out of the shell because it's a different culture there, right? So over there, and even here too now, especially now with all the restrictions, we are seeing that you cannot say this, you should not say that. I
yeah.
was like, I always wanted to be the proper that anything comes out of your mouth should be proper and correct. And you cannot just BS and you cannot just say anything. So I was always conscious of that, and which made me also very quiet and shy. But gradually things happen, you come into when life happens to you, and you come into into the field when you become a professional, and you have to conduct the meetings and talk in front of people for that. So that's exactly actually you were asking me the other time that how I got into this improv. So that my corporate world actually brought me to the world of comedy improv.
Nice. Yeah, talk about that a little bit. Was that trying to get over stage fright or just get presence on stage?
Yeah, so when we go through, so I was born in '74, so I'm only 2 years older than you. So
Okay,
we lived
nice.
we were living in the same era, just in a
That's
different
cool.
part of the world. Yeah,
I
Michael
assumed you were
Jackson.
like 10 years. You look young. I thought you were much younger than me.
Thank you very much. I'll take it as a compliment. I wish it would be from a girl, but it's still.
Yeah, exactly.
and and yeah, Michael Jackson Thriller and all that. So yeah, no, so because of that, I when the midlife crisis happened to me, I was like, what I was doing all my life. When it was my 40th birthday, I was like, all my life I just did. I was studying first, doing developing my skill set. Then I was working. I wanted to be something and join a good company, get a better position, and become financially stable and all that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm already 40. I've already lived
Oh.
half of my expected life, if the expected life is true.
Well,
Then
now
I
in
have.
America, the life average dropped to 70 for males.
Oh, it
Just
dropped to
so you
70
know.
now? Oh,
Yeah, so you
yeah. Oh,
lost.
thanks.
Yeah, that's why I say I've never been above average in anything in my life. I need to start living.
And so I was like, now it's time for me okay, it's an eye-opening for me. I need to start living my life and do the thing I always wanted to be. Always wanted to be a rock star on the stage, that the people
Oh,
are going crazy about me, especially the girls and that. I'm like, what can I do to get that? So I was doing
Yeah.
some different thing, but since we know each other from the comedy thing, so yeah, so I saw an ad. I was working here in the South Bay area at that time. I'm talking about, I guess, 7, 8 years back, and I saw South Bay Adult School has all these community classes, and I saw their flyer or ad that enhance your public speaking skills and public speaking skill and good, and this course is particular for the business professionals who have to do presentations and in front of the large groups and for the training. I like, okay, that can help, because at that time I was in that kind of job where I had to give some presentations to my client and also some training to my team. I like, I can always learn. I'm a big fan of learning, especially big fan of community college here in America. Believe me, that's the best thing anyone can do to themselves, that register for the fun classes there and have some fun.
Yeah.
With the fees they charge, is if you take the same classes in a private institute or private setup, it's way much higher, and that's the best return of your tax money to believe me, to join those. So I'm a big fan of those. So I was always looking for the classes, and that class came up to me, and when I went to that class, I registered for the class, went to the class. The teacher she told us, and of course she asked that who is, and everyone was from different paths of life. Some had, I'm a real estate agent, I am a banker, I am this, I am that. And she said,
Yeah.
okay, whatever you are, your skill set for that. Here I'm only going to teach you how to react, or how to be present in the moment when you are with people or doing your presentation, or doing how to be present. And if any situation arises, which unexpected situation, somebody raise a question or somebody acts weird, and also when you are talking, you need to know that where to stop, where to start. And she said that it's improv acting and more towards comedy, because that's that really help people to relate with you. And how when we meet people, Colin, everyone is like uptight, especially when you meet new people, and especially for the work and stuff, everyone is uptight and very proper. And but if because of the comedy improv, you say something funny in the beginning of
Yeah.
and still you can be respectable. It does not have to, you have to pick on someone, or it's still being positive and say something funny, and everyone's guard just got down. And then everyone becomes a normal person, and then you can talk to them. So I was like,
Yeah.
I like, that's really cool. A cool thing. I did not know about the comedy improv at that time. And I'm talking about that 7 or 8 years back. And since then, Colin, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I am addicted to it. It's an addiction for me. I did not miss any session since last 7 or 8 years, all year long.
Wow.
I do improv. And luckily, I found a class, you can say, or a group, you can say, that now we're, after every our session, we do a showcase too. So I have started, like, performing too on the stage for that. It's very like satisfactory for me. It's very addicted, and like it's fun. I feel alive there
Yeah.
when
I've
I'm
always
doing.
wanted to try improv. I go to these open mics have you tried the Hollywood Comedy Club ever? Just
I've
like a
I've seen a
random.
show there, but I've not. Yeah, I've not
Yeah.
done anything there. Yeah.
They do an improv like open mic and it's real loosey goosey. It's like they do a daytime one, which I like, so I could do it before work. They do them
Mhm.
now even at starting at 10 or 11 a.m., I think, which is really cool. And I'll go to like a noon one or whatever. And I'll just do whatever, a couple dad jokes, and they have a hat and you can pull like topics
Mm.
out. And I'm so bad at it and doing the improv stuff. And I always think I
Yeah.
should take a class. I should take that one that you're taking. It seems
Yeah,
like it would sharpen your mind and make you,
it does.
yeah, all the stuff you're
and
saying.
and it's especially if I started applying it in my real life. So so that's what I tell to all the new people who comes to the class. Whenever you start a new
Yeah,
session, there are always some new people and some old people. And I tell this to new people that it's better that you start applying this to your real life. And that's because it's not for everything, is not for everyone, right? Like for me, for a lot of people, they say, oh, we cannot do improv because we do not know. Because in improv, you go on a stage, you ask the audience who they are, where they are, what are they doing, and
yeah,
right then and there you have to start your scene with your scene partners there, right?
okay,
So it's not for so some people find it hard that, oh, I cannot think
yeah.
it right away. For me, some reason,
Yeah,
the stand up is a little harder because I think I'm not a writer. People do not understand about it. People think that, oh, people just go on the mic and just start saying things,
yeah.
right? They do
You
not
were
realize.
great. I think you're great. Your five was so funny.
Yeah, yeah, but it's very hard for me, Colin, because I'm not a writer. Because
Yeah, no,
you
it
have
makes
to
sense.
write.
Some people love, I think it's like Coke versus
Mhm.
Pepsi or chocolate vanilla.
Yeah,
Some people are like stand up versus improv. I've always
yeah.
been more stand up just because I've been lazy. I'm like, I gotta take a class and
Hey,
and I feel like I'd be bad. I draw blank, which is why I
mhm.
need to take the class. It's like karate for your brain, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I sound so stuffed up. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I just always am like, uh,
No,
it's
but
like, yeah,
you are very natural. Like the thing I when we were in the car, I have seen your sets on your performances, on Insta and others too, and live in different scenarios. I think I'm the only one from the class who attended most of your shows. So, but
no,
it
it's,
comes naturally to you, like the words and
oh,
things
that's a
that
very,
comes naturally to you.
that's
And
very kind.
for me, writing the whole script and then revising it and then memorizing
Yeah,
it, for me, somehow it's a little harder than improv, where I'm given the situation right then and there, and I can
yeah,
just say things like, or maybe in
yeah.
doing it for last 7 8 years, my brain is trained for that more.
No, I think it's both because it's what you were saying. I
Yeah.
love memorization. I can easily
Mhm.
remember things. Um,
Yeah.
and so everything you're saying that you hate it, I'm like, I love all those things. So that's,
No, I'm not saying
yeah.
I hate
Well,
it.
no, you
I'm saying
hate
it's
it, but
it's
it's
harder.
harder.
It's
Yeah,
harder for me
yeah.
than
I've
improv.
been
Yeah.
as a kid, and I still do it for fun. I'd always try to just see how many digits into pi I can remember. Like
Oh,
3.14, yada yada yada. Yeah, I love.
well,
I always
you're a smart
imagine.
kid. I'm not. I just take it
Oh,
easy.
I'm so stupid.
I try to take
Yeah.
it
Yeah, what are
everything just
schools?
easy.
What's Are schools in Pakistan like here in America, where it's just like elementary, junior high, high school, kids in a
Yeah,
classroom?
yeah. It's more like the British education system there, because we were ruled by British for 100 plus years. So
Yeah.
everything. So the all the schooling is a British schooling system,
When you
and
mentioned feeling formal, I was going to say, I wondered if that was some of the British influence.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's still, I'm living here for 18 years, and of course, I was not speaking English that much when I was back home. How here I have to, right, 24/7.
Yeah.
So, so most of my English, either it's American when I speak English, but it's still some words comes out that people say, "Hey, we do not say it here. This is not the right word." And then I have to tell them, "Hey, not here, but in the actual English country is the right English." I
Yeah.
do not want to, like example of pussy. Pussy is a cat, and they say it to the cat. It's a normal word, and here you cannot say it.
That's funny. Yeah, you probably just got me banned from the internet. No, I'm sure it's fine. I'm
Yeah.
sure people have heard worse. Yeah, I don't, that's really awesome. I'm sure the translations, I don't know any words in Urdu. Now I'm gonna look it up and I'm gonna try to find some this week. I wonder if it's on Duolingo.
Oh yeah, it must be.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. That's awesome. And now, do you keep in touch on social media with your friends, and people and family back home? Do they see you doing the comedy stuff out here?
Yeah, I do, but as I said, that when you are youngest of nine,
Yeah, they've
nobody
seen it. You're the ninth
cares.
sequel of the movie. Everyone's like, we don't care anything you're doing.
Yeah, so and it's so they do, and plus some of the stuff is language barrier too, right? Because of course my
Okay.
nephews nieces who are the younger generation, they are and they know English, and some of them lives abroad too. They know English, they understand it better. So yeah, they like it, appreciate it, tell me that I'm funny, and
You're so
the other.
smart to be able to do that in another language.
It's like within last week. This is You are the second person who said that, because I had my improv show 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and there was one of our improver parents. They flew in from South Bay, and sorry, from Bay Area, and he was telling me, he asked me that where are you from? I tell him Pakistan, and he told me that, oh yeah, we were about to go there. I went to India and did not go there. And he said to me the same thing, that he complimented me that you are the funniest here in this whole troop. I said thank you very much. And then he said that it must be harder for you that you are doing it in another language. I said for some reason it's, yeah, sometimes I do get stuck that I could use a better word or better term. But that's the fun of improv. That whatever you say, that's the thing. People have to believe it. That's if I say that this is whatever world I present to them, that's my world, right? So
Now, are you promoting yourself a lot on social media, like Instagram? Do you have a TikTok?
I do more on YouTube.
Oh, okay,
On
that's cool.
Yeah, I do more on YouTube and Instagram too now, but it's more
I will
it's
follow
not,
you on
I do not
YouTube.
do it for money, right? Because I do it more for my fun, my own fun, and just to keep my sanity. And I
Yeah,
tell when people ask me, "Oh, what do you do other than work?" So I tell them, "Well, for my physical health, I play tennis, I do yoga, I go to gym, I do hike, and I do walks, and for my mental health and sanity, I do improv." And so,
that's cool. That's how I feel. I'm all,
mhm,
yeah, we're about the same age. And I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, I'm not trying to get a sitcom. I think being famous would be exhausting. I don't want that kind of workload or
yeah,
responsibility. I
we
think,
do it for ourselves, right? For
yeah,
us,
it's like a
more,
brain
and I
gym.
think that makes it more attractive to people, because we are not trying to impress, we are not competing, we are
Yeah,
doing it just for our
exactly.
own fun, and it makes it more easier. And
And
actually, it's and this mental health part is true technically and logically too. I was watching a documentary about some lady made it that she lost her husband and how she overcome this and that. And she and one of he was some dean of psychology in some I think in some university in Baltimore or somewhere like that.
yeah.
And he said this, that if you keep your brain working like that in any kind of artistic stuff, any performing art, I do not know if it is right brain or left brain which controls all these artistic stuff in your mind. So you can keep the Alzheimer's and these old age diseases away for a long time. He said
Mm,
that this is a proven fact.
that's
So,
cool.
so, so we are on the right way.
That's awesome, man. And I have to say, I'm looking at your YouTube page. You have
Mhm.
11.6 thousand subscribers. That's crazy. That's a lot of people. You're famous. You're like a celebrity. That's like a
Yeah,
town.
the only thing is I do not get views like that. How much subscriber I get, and I
Well,
will
you have
even search that. How come do not?
150,000 views. I can show you on that though. I can help you. I know how to rig it's keywords.
Okay. Yeah.
It's it's keywords,
Hmm.
and I just you keep them simple. Like I will just put like dogs, and
Hmm.
then you'll get 10,000 views because someone's just typing in dogs or whatever. Cats, are just very the more. Yeah, I'm looking through your views. Yeah, I can, but there's some on here. I think everyone on YouTube hits that too, where it's like it seems like there's like a ceiling when you get to like 7, 8, 9,000 views. It's like it's so hard to.
It's so weird. Like some things I think that, oh, this is very attractive, this is very funny, and or this is something different, and I do not
Yeah.
get anything. And so I started my YouTube channel for because I was traveling a lot, and I love traveling. I can you
Oh, I
tell
see. Yeah,
me,
you got
yeah,
Portland on here. That's I grew up there.
yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
So I that's how I started my YouTube channel to record all my traveling from different parts of the world. And it's
Oh,
hard to keep all the videos and
yeah,
pictures. You need so much memory. So I'm like, okay, I'll just make a video and upload it on YouTube. That will be my storage place for my for my
smart.
traveling thing. And then I started doing it like in a better way, all this traveling or events in LA or anything. and
Yeah.
and I did not get like enough views on all those, the one I started with. And then I uploaded one of my I for 5 days a week, my breakfast and my lunch is a very healthy smoothie I make. It's a
Yeah.
very power pack meal replacement smoothie I make, I come up with.
I'm watching it right
and
now. It's funny you say that.
and that got the highest views. I was like, what? My channel
Yeah,
was supposed to be for traveling and for
almost
events, and
9,000.
the highest views I got is on the smoothie,
That's funny.
which is good,
It's
I
see,
would
I
say.
think they put a ceiling because I have some that's like I have one or two. It's like 8.9. I always see people have that. I wonder if it's like that should have 10,000. I thought I was cool. I have 20 subscribers. 20. You have
Well,
12,000.
we
I
can
just
talk
subscribed to
offline about
you. You better follow me
this.
back.
I will. Actually, I am following you already. That's where I hear your podcast.
Oh, that's funny. Thank you. You're part of the 20. You're part of
Yep,
the
I'm part of the
original,
20. Yeah.
the founding fathers. That's
Yep.
awesome. Um, well, you've inspired me. I gotta try improv. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's like joining a gym. I'm gonna do it. I gotta
Yeah,
do
and one best thing happened to me. Like I'm paying back to community by improv, by doing improv. It was
Yeah.
because in one of the sessions too, there were a couple of people who are like retired people. They joined, and I was in the class. They asked me that, oh, we have acting group in Manhattan Beach Community Center for older people,
Oh,
and
nice.
uh, and we do a show once in a year show, which is all written, edited, rehearsed, and by those people, and they put a show together, and we think that you can be a part of that show, and you can, there are a few characters you can fill in. I'm
That's
like,
cool.
really? I'm like, okay. So now I have joined that. It's a very fun bunch of people. They are some of them are 80 plus, Colin. I'm not kidding you, 80 plus, some of them. And that's what they do. They write their own skits, and they rehearse them, and they put it on a show together. And I
That's
really
cool.
feeling good doing those, and they are
I
very
grew up
funny
around
and
old
very
people.
energetic.
Yeah. I grew up around old people. I feel like yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. And Manhattan Beach is, I think, the best place in the world. If I was rich, I would live in Manhattan Beach. Everyone's in such a good
Well,
mood
I,
there.
I do
It's like
not I do
paradise.
not live there either, but those people were living there, so
Yeah,
they kind of asked me if I will be okay. I'm like, yeah, why not?
they're old and
That's
rich. That's the only people that can afford houses anymore. I can't imagine
oh
being a
yeah,
kid
can you
now.
imagine?
Yeah, it's like houses are $1 million.
Yep, $1 million is like a normal house range of in LA now.
I,
Like if you really like my coworker, my team from the other, everyone is in different parts of US, and one person was there like, oh really? You're not a homeowner? I like live in LA, and then I'll ask you, inshallah, that I can buy a home too. But not,
yeah. I wish I was a homeowner in LA because I would just rent out all of the rooms. I would like make it so 1,000 people could live there. And then I would charge
oh,
them each $10,000.
oh yeah, I know people who literally made their lives by doing that.
That's awesome.
Like
They're the smartest
they
people ever.
started with this, and now they are like a real estate uh, kings in their own world. Yeah,
Yeah, real estate's where it's at. Now I have to ask you these two questions. My
yeah.
last 12 guests have said no, they have no idea. Do you believe in ghosts or UFOs?
I believe in ghosts, and
Uh,
you'll be surprised that all the Muslim people actually do, because the ghosts are mentioned in our holy book Quran. There's a whole chapter about them, that they do exist.
is that the
And
jinn?
jinn, yeah, it's the same thing, right?
Very cool. Invisible sort of tricksters.
Yeah, both good ones and bad ones, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Have you ever seen the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
no,
It's like an old Spielberg 70s UFO movie. And that's a
uh,
term where that sort of came on to the scene in popular culture and got popular was Close Encounters of the Third Kind or whatever. And that was developed by this scientist named Jacques Vallée. And
mhm.
he's French American. He's like French, but like moved here to America, whatever. And that's all he does. And he's sort of on record, and the government's in America is like, yes, we paid him. And he's sort of just studied this stuff really a lot and written really cool books. You can read them, but he writes them like 30 pages long. He's only written like five. But in a couple of them, he talks about he's like it's fascinating because if you look at other cultures, he's like there's the jinn that are, or then you go to Ireland and they'll have like leprechauns or fairies. It's like every culture seems to have this sort of type of jinn in that, in their society or in their culture. And I think it's just, yeah, so interesting, so fascinating. Um,
I'll definitely look into it.
yeah, and he's like, if you eat food, or drink water, sort of, or drink something from there, time will pass, or you'll get stuck there, like all these sort of themes. And yeah, it's fascinating. That's cool. Have you ever seen anything paranormal? Have you ever seen anything where you're like, oh my gosh?
Mm, no, not really. Actually, I hope someday, but a good one, not the one, not the
Yeah.
harmful one.
Pakistan's a
But
hot spot, they say, for UFOs.
oh yeah, yeah, no, people believe in. So we do believe that there are other worlds other than us, totally.
Oh,
So
wow.
if there are other worlds exist, that we are a very tiny part of the whole universe. So
That's
of course,
cool.
if there are other worlds exist, then you have, the Wakanda maybe exists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And now have
we
you
just do not
followed,
know.
yeah. Have you followed in the news at all? Have you seen any of these stories about the Pentagon released a couple of videos? You can see little
Oh
blips
yeah,
flying across the screen, the
yeah,
senators fighting. Yeah, fascinating times, I think, it's
yeah.
um
Especially in Mexico, in their parliament, they talked about
yes.
it. What can be more authentic than that?
Yes. And then last week in Britain, they just had a big news story. Their government had like a public meeting about like how would we broach this to the public, and
Mhm.
kind of like what you're saying. I think now they have all these space telescopes and they're seeing there's so much out there. Each galaxy has the
Each
Milky
galaxy.
Way,
Yep,
billions and hundreds of billions.
I believe it totally. That we are just a tiny part of the whole universe.
Yeah. We need a better space program. I hope we're getting to the point where it's like Star Trek, where they had like Starfleet Academy and the whole planet has sort of come together and is working on like just this awesome space program. Like we need that so bad. That would be so cool. I
Yeah,
want to go
it will be
space.
good if it happens in our expected life
Yeah,
life
exactly.
expectancy.
I know.
Or we will be watching it from up there that, hey, yeah, okay, we
We
knew it,
will.
that it's coming.
I do think the next few years will be cool. I'm such a nerd. I don't know if you saw, they call it Starship, that SpaceX rocket the last couple of weeks it's gone up. And
Mhm.
that's that's like 40 stories tall. They call them Raptor engines. It's got like 40 or 50. So if you like, yeah, just
Wow.
massive. And they're supposedly it can lift. I always forget. It's hundreds or thousands of tons. But supposedly it always gets pushed back a few. I'm Googling Starship lift capacity. They always push it back a few years, but next year, the year after, they're supposed to start working on a lunar base that's permanent, that's nuclear powered. Um, which would be so awesome, but we'll see. Yeah, the Starship can lift 150 tons in the low Earth orbit. So you could start to build massive,
Yep.
yeah, but we'll see. Hopefully one won't crash and blow a bunch of people
Yeah,
up.
those things do not come cheap and cannot be, any smaller scale. So they have to be massive.
Yeah, that's what's fascinating too on those where they can land like vertically or whatever. Um, I want to go to space so bad. I want to go so bad. I deserve it if I ever win the lottery. I'm gonna.
Now you live in Venice, so you just need to buy some really cool stuff and
Yeah,
in one
exactly.
or two times.
I just
So,
have to win the Powerball. As soon as Chat GPT came out, I downloaded it on my phone and I was like, help me win the lottery. I was like, I can't do that. I was
I
like,
I love ChatGPT. I'm telling you, I
me
love it.
too. AI is the best thing ever.
AI is the best thing.
I typed in like a year or two's worth of previous winning Powerball numbers. It was like, can you find a pattern here? And it was like, no. I was like, whatever. If you go to my Instagram page, I loaded today, I posted, I tried for the first time text to video or script to
Mhm.
video, and you can just type in a script and then press enter and it'll make a little short film for it out of you. And I tried it today for the first time. They on CapCut. I don't know if you've ever used that app. And they have a free version of it. It's sort of like Sora. I'm sure you've seen the open AI version of
Yeah.
the text to video. Yeah, it was fascinating. I mean, it's going to change everything. I
No,
can't wait. Oh, sorry.
it has changed. It is changing already. When it came new, the Chat GPT. So my coworker, they say, oh, use it for that, we are using it for Excel formula, then it's good. And I'm like, that's boring. I want to use it for some fun. So I put in, I'm talking about like 7, 8 months ago, last year maybe, I put it that, hey, give me a story that a guy from Pakistan came to America and fall in a American girl. And give me a story, write me a short story about it. And it did. It just made up things and gave me the whole story that, oh, they met
Yeah,
at work and the coffee machine was not working, he helped her,
yeah.
and then he introduced her to some good spicy Pakistani food, biryani, and she introduced him to this American thing. And then I asked him that, okay, write a song about it, and it gave me a song about this whole story. Then I asked that, give me a composition of that song, and it gave me a composition of the song about
Yeah, that's
it.
awesome. I love it. I'm fascinated by AI. I got too lazy. It didn't even last more than a week. I was going to start like an AI news website where I could just like aggregate stories because I was just like, yeah, yeah, it's going to change everything. Um, And it's fascinating too, because like this faster, like you were saying, your friends are doing formulas and then you're having it write stories. Like in
Yeah.
10 years, is it just going to be able to write comedy sets? Is it going to just,
I'm not gonna lie, I tried, but it was not impressive.
it's
Even though
not
I
at
like, if
all.
I'm yeah, I like, if I'm not liking it, how come the audience is gonna like it? So,
Yeah. Well,
though
that's
I
what's
it was I gave
fascinating.
my, yeah, I gave my ideas though. I said, this is my idea, write me a skit out of it. But it was not really.
It's fascinating because like it
Mhm.
can do formulas, it can do like complex coding,
Mhm.
but still like a knock knock joke is very
Yeah.
difficult for it, It's like that's fascinating in terms of
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the best part for me is, like 30, 35 pages reports or financial reports for work or something like that. I just put it there as it that give me the bullet point. What are the main bullet points? And out of 35 pages, I ask that 10 bullet points, and I know in those 10 bullet points exactly that what is in that 35 pages report.
Wow. I just watched an interview with Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI,
Mhm.
on that Lex Friedman show, and he was like, sorry, it's my email. He was like, I think in the next few years there will be billion-dollar companies founded off of these AI programs that couldn't have been done before. And I
Yeah.
was like, I want to think of them. I want to come up with. I wish I was smarter.
Mhm. Yeah, and I
Yes.
was thinking that even some of the programs will go away, like Excel,
Oh
the one
yeah.
people are using because you do not need. You just tell, hey, I need that kind of a spreadsheet which shows this, and it
Yeah.
will create it for you. You do not need to go in Excel and create it yourself.
The CEO of NVIDIA says that now. I was always like, everyone should learn to code forever, you know? And now he's like, you don't have to learn it all anymore because of AI.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I tried it a little bit to do like a little app, and yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, I can't imagine, and it's gonna just grow so fast. Yeah, they keep saying it's gonna take our jobs. I hope it'll start paying my rent. That would be that would be
yeah.
amazing.
Do not just take the job. Give us back. Give us some
Exactly.
kickback out of it too.
Exactly. Take my bills, take
Yeah.
my stress, take my worries away. Uh, well, Saeed, this was really awesome, man. Thank you so much. This was incredible. Um, yeah, thank you. I look
No,
yeah.
thank you, because I know that when I heard you're doing a podcast, and I like, if Colin is doing a podcast, I need to be on it. And you
Well,
have
thank you.
you have the I can say that this is my first ever in my life podcast. So you have this liberty to say that, hey, you were the first
Oh,
one who
wow.
interviewed me. So
That's awesome. And you're like a shipping magnet. You're worth $1 trillion. You're like, it all started on the Colin O'Reilly show. That's
yep.
awesome. In 10 years, we'll both be homeless from robots. And it'll be like, that'll be awesome. Well, dude, thank you. That's a huge compliment. I appreciate it. And thank you so much. I'm going to go deliver sandwiches on my motorcycle to rich people now. It's going to be great. In a windstorm. It's just been like
and
nonstop today.
and I will go back to my corporate delivery.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to your, do you have a cubicle or an office?
It's no, not it's a cubicle, open
Okay.
cubicle, I would say. Yeah,
That's what everyone, I guess, has now. Are those what's
yeah,
popular, the open spaces,
hmm yeah,
communal?
yeah.
That's cool. I'm an Uber delivery person, so I'm not allowed in offices. They're just like, you're a peasant, leave the sandwich outside, don't make eye contact, and then I run away back to
Yeah,
the.
at least you are free to be outside. You're not a slave of a corporate.
I do love it. I feel like Batman mixed like with a cowboy who's just delivering
Yeah.
sandwiches through Venice. That's great. Well, dude, thank you so much, man. Have a great day. Thank you.